hopefully the children screaming in the pool outside don't make it in the video, because it sure sounds like a giant brawl is happening outside the apartment, and that's not really my aesthetic for the podcast. It's just not. Hi, I'm Nicole, and welcome to episode 12 of the Nicole Stitches podcast. I am your host, a left-handed crocheter, knitter, and general crafter, coming to you from Northern Virginia, where I work and live with my fiance and our cat, Webster. You can keep up with me on Instagram at NSP Designs, on Ravelry as she writes things, and we have a Ravelry group for the podcast, which I will link in the description. You can also follow me on Pinterest at NSP Designs, and in my Etsy shop, NSP Designs, where I make and sell handmade project bags, notions pouches, and other accessories for crafters, as well as original crochet pattern designs. If you are new, thank you for, clicking on the video and spending some time with me. I hope you enjoy. And if you are a return viewer, welcome back. I am a little bit light on fiber content this week because I've been trying to really kind of focus my attention on projects. I've mentioned before, but we are going on vacation at the end of this month. Technically the very beginning of next month, but there was at least one thing that I really wanted to have done for the cruise. We are taking a Disney cruise to Alaska. We have been planning this for a long time, and that is coming up. We will be flying to, the ship leaves from Vancouver, Canada, so we will be flying up to Canada on the 1st of September, and we will be on the cruise, and then we will get back just before my birthday, actually. So that's, I'm telling you this because I have a little bit less fiber content than usual because I have no new starts. I've been trying to focus on some existing projects to get them done in time to have and enjoy on this cruise. I have been dreaming of this cruise all year long, since before we even booked it, and I'm just so excited, and I'm really excited to have some amazing hand knits to take with me. So that's my intro information that you probably didn't even really need to know or want to know, but now you know that's happening. So welcome. All that intro stuff out of the way, I think that's everything. I remembered to mention my Etsy shop, and I remembered to mention the Ravelry group. The Ravelry group is still fairly new, but it is where I post show notes for every episode of the podcast. There's also an intro thread in the group where, as you join, you can go in and make a post, introduce yourself, tell us how you got into whatever your craft is, knitting, crochet, etc. Tell us, where you're from, where you live now, what you do, anything like that. Give us a little intro spiel. We have some group members now. I don't think anyone has posted in that thread yet except for me, but please do. Please feel welcome. You can post on any of the threads if you want. You can post your own if you have questions or anything, but yeah, please join the group and get chatting. You are more than welcome. I have no intention of just talking to myself in there. I have my works in progress to share. Let's see. I couldn't decide what to start with. I'm gonna start with the Camp Wilkerson wrap. This is a pattern by Boyland Knitworks, who keeps coming out with amazing patterns that we all want to knit immediately, and it's a bit of a problem, so if you could cool it, that would be great. I'm just kidding, never stop. I want everything you make. This is the shawl that I have been focusing on almost entirely monogamously since last week. If you've been with the podcast for a while, you will know that I recently finished a bottom-up sweater by Tin Can Knits, the Spotlight sweater, and I was also working on this while I worked on the sweater, and I have one other project. After I finished the sweater, I decided that I was not going to cast on another one, even though I really, really wanted to, and I still really, really want to, but I'm forcing myself to focus. And this is the wrap that I really want to have for the cruise. Ever since I saw the pattern and picked my colors, it has just been begging to go on this cruise with us. So I really want to have it done in time. And I have about just over 3 weeks to finish. So I've really been trying to focus. Here is what I have so far. Whoops, my cake just fell on the floor. But here we go. You can see I've had this section done for quite a while, and I think last week I had just started on this red section, but obviously I've gotten some rows in. So here we go, a nice eyelet section. I will say that the row where you actually make the eyelets is slow going for me. It has actually taken me a lot longer than I care to admit to memorize the pattern of, like, the order of stitches that you make to get the eyelet on each, because it's different. There's this middle band here, and the way that you do it on this side is different than the way you do it on this side, because some of them need to lean this way and some need to lean that way. So you're doing a different type of decrease on both sides, and a different, like, it falls in it's different on each side. And it's been kind of tough for me to remember, probably because a lot of the time that I've been working on this, I've also been, like, watching TV with Adam, or, you know, kind of, because it's very, aside from that one row where you set the eyelets, it's just stockinette for a couple rows until it's eyelet time again. So it is a meditative knit, so I haven't paid full attention to it while I've been working through it, and I think that's why it's taken me longer to kind of catch on to the stitch sequence, but I think I got it now. This is supposed to be a DK weight pattern. I am making it in fingering weight yarn. I always list the yarns that I'm using in the description below and in the show notes in the Ravelry group. If you're curious, I've said this 1,000 times, so I'm sorry if you already know. You could probably say it with me. This gray is MadTosh Tern. This yellow is KnitPicks Hawthorne Kettle-Dyed in Compass. The white is Blue Sky Alpaca, Blue Sky Fibres. I think that's the same. I think that's the same company. I probably call it a different thing every time. But the yarn is an alpaca silk blend in the color 110, and then the red is Pendleton red from MadTosh as well. So I'm using fingering weight yarns. There are hundreds of projects for this pattern on Ravelry. If you are looking to make this, I strongly suggest that you go and look at those projects, both for color inspiration, and if you're like me and you want to make it in fingering weight yarn, that is a great place to find some insight into how other people did it, because I took my guidance, or, you know, guidance from I have an English degree and I can't think of any words ever. God. That is where I got a lot of my guidance as to how to adapt the pattern to a smaller weight of yarn. I am very naughty and I don't check gauge for knitting unless it's a garment, like unless it's a sweater. For me, I just don't check gauge. I just don't care that much if it's not the perfectly identical amount of yarn that I use or whatever, or if my stitch size is kind of off. I compulsively, purposely buy a little more yarn than I need for a project always, and if I'm using yarn from stash, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and hope I have enough. But because it's not a garment that actually, or an item that has to fit anything, like a shawl or a wrap or a scarf or like mitts, I don't really swatch, like anything like that. I just don't, it's you know, it's an extra step, and I'm very impatient, so I don't do it. But I was curious as to how I could make this work on fingering weight yarn rather than DK. This is all yarn that I've had in my stash for quite a long time, and I wanted to use it. It looked really nice together. It's all of my favorite colors. Red and yellow are my two faves, and though they're also my wedding colors. And so I checked Ravelry on the project pages and figured out how to make this work. So there are a couple of people on there. You can just search. If you go to the projects tab, you can search keywords and it will pull up the projects that mention those words. So I searched for fingering weight to see who had done it already, and a couple people said I did so many extra rows above what the pattern says. Somebody else said that they did like 20% more than what was told. So I kind of used that as guidance more in the stripes. In here I definitely went with that. For this eyelet section, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, because I do want it to be a nice long wrap, and if I were to stop after the number of repeats that the pattern says to do, it would definitely be pretty short. Even after blocking, I think it would be like kind of a weird short length that I wouldn't like. And I had planned to do it pretty long. I had planned to try and use up as much of the cake as I possibly could, but I do find the eyelets kind of tedious, so we'll see. I want to get it to be a decent length pre-blocking, then the blocking will make it grow a little bit, and, you know, we'll see. If I have yarn left over, then I have yarn left over. But I have 3 weeks to finish, and I want to see how far I can get it. So If you are curious about exactly what I do for my fingering weight version of the Camp Wilkerson, you can let me know, and I will try to provide pretty detailed notes on my Ravelry project page. I do make a Ravelry project for pretty much everything that I make. So if you're curious about anything and I don't mention it on the podcast or on Instagram or anything, you can go and look at my Ravelry projects, find my profile, look at my projects, and you can see photos. I'm not great at posting photos. I try, but I do have some projects that are photoless, but I'm going to try to get better about that. But you can also see exactly the yarn I used, and I always link it to the actual source. So my MadTosh yarn will be linked to MadTosh on Ravelry. And you can see any notes that I made. So if you're interested in learning my adaptations to this pattern for fingering weight yarn, let me know, and I will definitely put that information in my project for you to peruse and for future people who want to make this with fingering yarn. I think that is all I have to say about this pattern for this week. Hopefully I continue making some good progress. I've really, really tried to be very monogamous with this knit because I want to get it done. I did take a little bit of a break from it the past day or so just to kind of cleanse the palette, give myself something else to do for a day, but I really need to get back to it. So hopefully you'll see lots more progress next week. So with my spotlight sweater off the needles, my only other project that is on the needles is my Goldfish memory wrap by Casapinka, and I have a little bit of progress to share on this this week. Again, for the 5th time, I have not really worked on it because I've been working on my Camp Wilkerson, but I do think that I've made, some progress from the last time I showed this to you. Here we are. This I am making entirely out of Hedgehog Fibres sock yarn. This is all yarn that I bought at my LYS, which is Fiber Space in Alexandria, Virginia. It's not that local to me, but it's local enough that I consider it my LYS. The white speckled color is Urchin, the orange is Rusty Nail, and this gray speckled is Method. And I think last time I was down here maybe, and I've finished this section of the pattern, and now I'm up here, which is just bigger stripes of the white and the gray, as you can see. I really, really love this pattern. I don't think at this point, I was kind of, naively ambitious and optimistic, thinking that maybe I could finish my Camp Wilkerson and my Goldfish memory in time for the cruise. I don't think that's going to happen, but that just means that I can bring this with me on the cruise, and that is totally fine. Because we are traveling internationally, I don't know what the situation will be with my knitting needles. I know that there are some horror stories of airlines making you throw out knitting needles, and that would be very sad for me if it happened with these. I'm using my Haya interchangeable set for this wrap, and that was a gift to me from my fiance's mother a couple Christmases ago. And so they're very nice needles, and they were a gift. I don't want them to get thrown out. But I have taken a number of flights with knitting needles, especially in the past couple of years, including international flights, and I've never had even a question about them. There's definitely one airline that neither of us has ever taken, but, there's always the risk. I'm thinking of grabbing a pair of inexpensive wooden needles to knit on just for the purposes of keeping the project in my carry-on. I do always carry a project in my carry-on bag. I am terrified of flying, and so knitting and crochet are part of my anxiety management on flights, so I always carry a project in my carry-on, and because these are airlines we haven't taken before, I may get inexpensive needles that are wooden to, and knit my project onto them for the purpose of the flight, and then pack my actual needles in my suitcase, switch them when we get on, on ground, and then switch them back, and then for the flight home, which, kind of sounds like some dumb back and forth, but if it, saves me the risk of having needles that are important to me get confiscated and thrown away, then, I'll do that. It's not that hard to knit a row onto a new pair of needles and then knit it back. It's just more progress on my project. That is all I have for fiber progress this week. I did mention it was going to be a little bit light on content because I have been trying to be very, very disciplined and focused. I did get the Boyland Knitworks Maritimo knitting pattern. It's a knitted t-shirt pattern with a little lacy panel. I think there's 2 little lacy panels. There's one kind of in the middle and then at the bottom. It's a very cute shirt, and I really want to cast it on. I do have some yarns in my stash already that I could use for it, and I'm really resisting temptation. But I know that I'm no longer as cautiously ambitious about finishing both of these projects before the cruise. I'm pretty pessimistic about the idea of them getting done. So I'm really trying to not cast it on, but we'll see. I do like to have more than one project with me, I think, because we have gone on one cruise before together, and we spent a couple of days just sitting on deck. That one was a tropical cruise in nice sunny hot weather, and this one is a cruise to Alaska, so we're not going to be like trying to tan or hop in the pool, but I think that we will spend just as much time on deck, you know, with a light sweater on or like a blanket. I still think that we're going to spend just as much time on deck, just we won't be in our swimsuits. And I want to knit. I'm going to bring some books to read as well, but I might try to find another project to cast on and bring with me, just in case I make, you know, some good progress on my Goldfish memory. I can kind of switch off projects, or if I finish, I'm not going to finish, but if I finish my Goldfish memory while we're on the ship, I am not at a total, you know, I'm not out of things to do. I also plan to find yarn shops in Vancouver and Alaska, so my suitcase is probably going to have like a lot of yarn in it, if I'm honest. But that's the life. So I guess my point is that the Maritimo is probably something that you will see me cast on sooner rather than later, but probably, hopefully not until, you know, after vacation. Another cast on that I'm really hoping to do very soon is another new pattern that, if you follow Shelly Can or the Flying Yak, I believe is her username on Instagram. If you follow either one of those people, you probably know about this, but they recently collaborated on 2 Colorworks sweater patterns that are hilarious and so cute. One of them is a yolk of eggs, and one of them is a yolk of avocados. They're both Colorworks sweaters. One is like a cropped sweater, and one is a traditional sweater. And this would be a gift knit. So my best friend, Rachel, who I've briefly mentioned before, loves avocados. She loves them. I love them too, but she loves them with a deep and abiding passion. And it's kind of become a little bit of a joke that I try to, anytime we exchange gifts, like for birthdays or Christmas or whatever, I try to incorporate either donuts or avocados on something. In the past, she's gotten us matching donut hoodies and a donut mug, and I've gotten her an avocado t-shirt where there's avocados on, you know, the chest area. And her birthday was last month, and I got her a pair of avocado socks. And as soon as the sweater was starting to show up in previews on Instagram, I knew that she needed this. And I tagged her in a post, and I said, I'm going to make this for you. And she kind of thought I was kidding. And then I told her, I'm not kidding, I'm going to knit you this sweater. So I think that that's going to be her Christmas gift. A little nervous because this is my first knit that has to fit another adult's body. I've never knit for another adult before, and so a little nervous, but I think I've kind of gotten a feel for it by now, and I'm probably going to use the same exact yarn that I've used for the 2 sweaters I've made so far, which would be KnitPicks Swish, because I think it might become like my default sweater yarn because I just really enjoy working with it. I really like the finished results, and I think it's really great. Not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor me, I will take more yarn. I'm in a weird mood today. Anyway, so that is a definite cast on very soon. Again, probably not until we get home from vacation, but you will definitely be seeing that from me. A nice avocado yolk sweater as Rachel's Christmas gift. This is not a spoiler, she knows, obviously, and I already had her take her measurements, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this ridiculous avocado sweater. I think it's going to be the best thing. So those are kind of planned cast-ons, planned new starts that are a little bit delayed, but you will see at least one of them for sure very soon. Otherwise, I think that's everything for fiber content. I have some shop news, so I'll do that real quick. I don't always share shop news, but when I have a lot of new things going into the shop, I do like to share. I have not been able to put as much time into creating inventory for the shop recently as I typically do because, as you know, I spent a lot of time running back and forth to various places in July, and I just haven't been near my sewing machine for a lot of the time. And when I have been home, I've just been really tired or catching up on other things. So I'm finally getting back on track now. And so I have a few things going into the shop this week I'm very excited about. Number one is this print. I made drawstring size, large drawstring bags in this print already. Let me see if I have one nearby that I can grab. I first debuted this print in my large bag size, which is a big, huge drawstring bag. This is the size bag that I've been using for my sweater projects. You've seen mine. I have a yellow one and a blue one with kitty cats on it. So when I debuted this new large size bag, that's the inside. I really love this fabric combination. I know that I came up with it, so I'm just like tooting my own horn, but what's good is good. So I debuted this fabric in this large bag size, and I had cut out the pieces for my medium project bag size, which is this size, just for comparison. But I never was able to get around to putting them together until now. And so now I have put them all together. Same fun polka dot lining, nice bright zipper. I have 3 of them in the shop now. The zippers are all slightly different shades of blue because when you buy wholesale zippers, sometimes that's just kind of the deal. But I really love this fabric. And another print that's coming into the shop this week, these all got listed today, so if you go to my Etsy shop now, you should be able to find them, are these mermaids. I have shown these mermaids before. I also offered these in my large drawstring version, but I am all sold out of that size right now, and this is the last of my fabric for the moment. Possibly at all. I need to check and see if I can get more, but these mermaids have been super popular so far, so I only have 2 of these bags right now. Here is the lining, really fun geometric, fun colors, nice purple zippers, and these bags are really cool. So again, in the shop now, finally. I've been trying to get them in the shop for days and days and days, and they're finally ready. And the last thing that's going into the shop is just one large bag in this print, which will look familiar because I have almost this exact bag. My outer fabric is the same, but my lining is different. My lining is gray and white polka dots, and this lining is fun turquoise chevrons. Let me pop it inside out for you to see. So I really like doing this with the drawstring bags when I'm working on a surface. You just kind of fold the top down and it makes like a yarn bowl type deal. So the sides will stand up, you can pop your cake or ball or skein of yarn in there and work like this. It'll keep your yarn kind of corralled, the handle sits down, and it's pretty great. So I just have this one bag right now in this print, but it will be going in the shop very soon, and if you grab it, we can almost match. That is it for listings in the shop, but there's one other shop thing that I wanted to share. I'm very excited about it. If you love jazzy shipping supplies, have I got the update for you. I have new shipping envelopes, and they're donuts. I'm almost out of my current shipping envelopes, and you can find all kinds of fun, ridiculous shipping envelope prints online, and I have enjoyed picking a new one every time I've had to reorder. So I'm almost done with my current stash, which is like pink, it's pink glitter, but not like actual glitter, it's just like an image of glitter. Very important that I clarify that. But I'm almost out of those, and I went to order more. I saw these, and it was an instant purchase. They're donuts. I am so excited. This is so great. So, as soon as I run out of those mailers, you will start to see these mailers showing up in your mailbox if you place an order at NSP Designs. I think that I might have to always order this print, because, like, duh. This If there's one thing that is my aesthetic, it's this. That's all. Very trivial shop update. And that's it for shop updates. My final segment will be reading progress. I have been working on reading The Children Act by Ian McEwan for a long time now. It's a pretty short book, but it took me a long time to get through it, again, because I've been all over the place this summer. I've just been here, there, and everywhere. But I finally finished it. I literally finished it last night and went to sleep immediately, so I haven't started anything new yet. But it's done. Ian McEwan is an author whose work I tend to really enjoy. I will say this was not one of my favorite books of his. It's not bad, it just, on the books of his that I've read, it doesn't rank super high. But it was pretty good. If you like kind of a moody, contemporary drama about people being flawed humans, this might be good for you. Next up, I think I'm going to be reading The Female of the Species, which was recommended to me by a friend. I don't fully know what it's about, actually. My friend told me it was good, so I bought it, and I didn't really read the blurb on the back. But yeah, I think I'm going to read this next. I'm sort of tempted to read a couple of other very short books, but I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to try and get it done by the cruise, and bring a couple of other books with me on the ship. We'll find out how that goes. I also have a few audiobooks stacked up in my Audible library that I need to get to as well. So I'm going to try to get back to those too, because I really, really enjoy audiobooks. They are a great way to make the workday go by faster, or a great way to kind of multitask and enjoy a book while I'm knitting or whatever. I gotta get back on that train too. And that's my reading progress. So that's pretty much it for the podcast in terms of life updates. Finally, not a ton is going on. This past weekend, we went to Baltimore to visit my fiance's mom for her birthday. We had a crab luncheon. I say that like it's a very fancy thing. It's not. If you've ever been to Maryland and done crabs, you know that it is the furthest thing from fancy. You just get covered in in Old Bay seasoning and crab juices, and it's very not a sophisticated process. But we had a crab luncheon. And then Adam and I actually took some engagement photos. It was very much a kind of spur of the moment mini session with someone we have been considering as a potential photographer for our wedding. We are getting married next year. This was a photographer whom I found, and she offered these fun mini sessions in Baltimore City in a park, and we decided that would be a great way to take advantage of an opportunity and see how we like her work, how she is as a photographer, if we gel well with her, etc., and to have some engagement photos taken. This was not our official engagement photo session. We definitely plan to take a full session. This one was only 45 minutes. We definitely plan to do a full real engagement photo session down the line, with better planning and of location and coordination and everything. But this was a really fun thing that we got to do to kind of celebrate that we are engaged. We got engaged very recently at the very start of July, so it's still kind of a new big deal. But that was really fun. I shared one or two of the photos on Instagram, and it was just a very enjoyable thing. So we did that this past weekend. We are hoping to finally take it slow and relax. We may end up going into the city. We live in the greater Washington, D.C. metro area, and a friend of ours is going into the city on Saturday to celebrate his birthday at a bar, and we may or may not be able to join him. It, as always, depends on Adam's work schedule, unfortunately. Yes, he sometimes has to do work from home on the weekends. He's very excited about it, but if we can make it, we definitely plan to go, and that won't be so bad. That's just a few hours on a Saturday night, and we get to kind of enjoy a bar with our friends. Other than that, we don't have huge plans, which is very exciting. And that's it. yeah, I think that's my video for this week. Sorry it's a little bit light on the, especially the fiber content. It's heavy on the jabbering and the strange jokes because I'm in a weird mood. But, you know, who wants to watch a video that's about what they actually thought it would be about? Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience. And I really do hope you enjoyed this, despite the fact that it's a little bit off the rails. I'll try to get my act together better next week and have more knitting to share with you, or some crochet. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you want to stay up to date, keep in touch with me, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Follow me on Instagram, join the Ravelry group, and give me a comment. Let me know what you think of my progress, what you're working on, any questions you may have, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me. I hope you get lots of fun crafting done this week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!